Congratulations from the box office!
Hooray!
Congratulations from catering!
Congratulations from research!
Woohoo!
Congratulations from the HR team.
Congratulations from registry!
Congratulations!
Congratulations to the class of 2018.
Congratulations from the professional engagements team!
Congratulations, my team.
Congratulations, class of 2018!
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Congregation of Awards ceremony at the RNCM for 2018. I hope you'll forgive me. I've been asked to take a selfie of you all, just like they did at the Oscars a couple of years ago. So I borrowed the selfie stick from my teenage daughter. If you give me about 10 minutes, I'll try and get her to work it out. If you don't want to be in the selfie, then hide, or cover your face with your programme, or just email marketing@rncm.ac.uk and we will remove you from the final product. Here we go. I'll shout 1, 2, 3, and then if you can cheer, shout, cheese, congratulations, any of the above. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. And another one for luck. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please stand for the President's procession?
Ladies and gentlemen, I declare this congregation open. But before I ask you to be seated, can I ask for a round of applause for our magnificent brass players? Please do sit down. Welcome everybody to what I always think of, and I know my colleagues do as well, as being the happiest day in the calendar of the college. It's the time when we come together to celebrate the individual successes that are represented so wonderfully around the room, and thereby the collective success of the college. So please do have a wonderful and suitably celebratory afternoon. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to today's Congregation of Awards. Our annual congregation is where we celebrate the achievements of our students and thank them for the contribution they have made to the life of the college. It's our opportunity to thank you, their parents, families and friends, for the support you have given over so many years, and also an opportunity for me to pay tribute to my colleagues here at the RNCM who work so tirelessly on behalf of our students. Each year, we are pleased to confer fellowships and honorary memberships of the RNCM on a number of people who have made an invaluable contribution to the professional world of music and to the work of the college. We're delighted to be able to recognise the work of 6 such individuals today and look forward to hearing more about their achievements in due course. Today, however, is first and foremost about our graduates. For those of you receiving your awards, it marks the end of a chapter in your lives, but also the beginning of the next exciting stage of your musical journeys. Whether you are continuing your studies at postgraduate level or have already embarked upon your careers, I am confident that your commitment and hard work will stand you in good stead. I am very proud indeed that the RNCM is now considered to be one of the world's leading conservatoires. We hold a Gold Award in the Teaching Excellence Framework, and are the UK's top conservatoire for research. Our innovative learning and teaching has been recognised through a prestigious Global Teaching Excellence Award, and we receive regular approaches from professional ensembles and international conservatoires wishing to partner with us. These are powerful endorsements of the external profile and reputation of the college today. The profile and reputation of the college really matters to you, our graduates, as where you studied remains on your CV for life. Rightly or wrongly, it can influence how others perceive you as you take your first steps into the profession. I'm confident that all of you graduating today will benefit from the esteem with which the RNCM is now held in the UK and overseas, and that this will put you in the strongest possible position for the future. In an increasingly challenging and diverse profession, one of the strongest indicators of our success is that graduates from the RNCM go on to establish and sustain fulfilling careers across the music industry, nationally and internationally. Last year, 98% of our graduates were in employment or further study within only 6 months of leaving the college, which is testament to our ability to prepare our students effectively for the challenges that lie ahead. I'm confident that those of you graduating today will follow in their footsteps. You are about to join our global network of alumni, and wherever your careers may take you, you will find friends and allies who studied here. When I speak to former students, it's obvious that the college occupies a very special place in their hearts. I hope it will in yours too. You leave the RNCM with the power not only to realise your own ambitions, but also to ensure that music remains relevant for future generations. I know you will use this power wisely, supporting and inspiring young musicians who are no longer able to access high-quality music tuition through their schools, drawing on your creativity and imagination to engage with new audiences, and reaching out through music to change the lives of those in society less fortunate than yourselves. As we await the outcomes of a major review into the funding of post-18 education and training, we are determined to continue to offer our students an outstanding education and training with the added value that will equip them for their future careers in the music industry. We are also committed to growing our scholarship and bursary provision so that every deserving young musician will be able to study with us, irrespective of their background or financial circumstances. With the likelihood that public funding will diminish still further, we will be increasingly reliant on the help of private benefactors, trusts and foundations, and the generosity of our extended RNCM family to achieve these goals. I hope that some of you here today might consider helping us in the future, perhaps by making a donation to the college, joining the Principal's Circle, or simply spreading the word. If you feel able to support us in any way, we will be only too happy to hear from you. Rest assured, you will be playing a critical role in supporting future generations of young musicians and ensuring they have the opportunity to fulfil their dreams. To conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate all of you receiving your awards today. To our new fellows and honorary members, I welcome you warmly into the extended RNCM family. To our graduates, as alumni of the RNCM, you will always be very welcome here. Do please keep in touch with us and send us your news. It has been a pleasure and a privilege to work with you in your time at the college. As you take your next steps into the music profession, wherever in the world this may be, we will be following your progress with much interest and wishing you every success and happiness in the future. Thank you. President, on behalf of the college, I now invite presentations of musicians who have been found worthy to be admitted as fellows of this college.
President, I have the honour to present Philippe Dinkel, pianist, musicologist, and director of the Haute École de Musique de Genève. Philippe studied piano at the Conservatoire in Geneva, the Jacobs School of Music, Indiana University, and musicology at the University of Geneva. He became head of the Conservatoire Library in 1982, also teaching analysis and music history. Then in 1992, he was appointed director of the Conservatoire in Geneva, one of Europe's oldest and most prestigious music schools. Since 2009, when the Conservatoire joined with the university, he has been director of the Haute École de Musique. Philippe was a founding member in the 1970s of the award-winning trio Music Viva, and has worked in Switzerland and across Europe with the quartet Si Nominé and with eminent artists including Gabor Takacs and Nabucco Imai. He has recorded a variety of well-known music, Beethoven and Dvorak, and that of less familiar Swiss composers, Raffaele d'Alessandro and Eric Gaudibert. As a writer, he has published on Bartók, Stravinsky, Ernst Ansermet, and the Orchestra de la Suisse Romande. Recently, Philippe has been a key member of a group of international conservatoire leaders chaired by our own principal, Linda Merrick. She describes that in this group, we respect and value his input hugely, and he wears his extensive experience lightly. He is calm, measured, and wise, and is a gentleman with a lovely sense of humour. His long-standing leadership of the Conservatory in Geneva must be regarded as his signal achievement. International conservatoire leaders celebrate this. Bernard Lansky of Yongsi-To Conservatory, Singapore, describes him as being respected internationally for his vision, diplomatic skill, capacity for empathy, sense of balance and fairness, and his sound musical and educational judgment. Georg Schulz of the Universität für Musik und Darstellende Kunst in Graz says that he is known for his perfect balancing of innovative practices while maintaining the highest traditional qualities in music and music education, constantly finding the best solutions for art itself and for his students. Martin Prakal, formerly Chief Executive of the Association of European Conservatoires, now of the Royal Conservatory in The Hague, notes his building of an institution of outstanding quality in terms of artistic standards, curricular innovation, and forward-thinking approaches to teaching, learning, and research. Martin goes on to describe Philippe as a main architect behind the construction of the Cité de la Musique in Geneva, a truly inspirational and innovative project in which music and international diplomacy will come together. That coming together in the Cité de la Musique of the Haute École de Musique, one of the world's oldest and finest conservatoires, the Orchestre de la Suisse Romande, one of the world's great orchestras, on a site owned by the United Nations, is a potent symbol of the prospects for music for future generations. At a time when international relationships are under a fierce spotlight, it is fitting that we honour today a conservatoire leader so committed to collaboration between agencies and across borders, relentless in his pursuit of innovative practice and its sharing, and passionate about the power of music to unite us and to inspire us. It is fitting too to honour a great supporter of our college, a support that has extended over many years. And it is a particular pleasure for me to present a keen supporter of one of Manchester's football teams. My tie and my judiciously chosen gown giving a small clue as to Philippe's and mine shared allegiance. President, I am delighted to present Philippe Dinkel for admission to Fellowship of the Royal Northern College of Music, honoris causa.
President, I have the honour to present violinist Lynn Fletcher for admission to Fellowship of the Royal Northern College of Music. For those of you who go to concerts given by the Halle, you'll be very familiar with Lynn's work. She's been at the helm of the orchestra as leader since 1997, and she has seen the orchestra through extraordinary times of rejuvenation with Sir Mark Elder. She has been instrumental in its rise in profile, both nationally and internationally, and her playing approach has had much to do in creating its trademark sound and polish, both in live performance and also in the recording studio. Personally, I had the pleasure of sitting opposite Lynn for a good 6 years. Her calm and authority on stage are second to none. She sits serene, with one of the most coveted and silken bowing arms in the business, and is legendary for her ability seemingly never to make a mistake. Her solos rise above the orchestra with grace, poise, and beauty of sound, not to mention flawless intonation. Lynn's experience has proved invaluable in her work at the RNCM as a perceptive and highly skilled orchestral coach. She is softly spoken, yet demanding, and knows the repertoire and the business of orchestral playing from the inside out. Our students know that they are getting a dose of practical realism with Lynn, and she's generous in her mentoring and her advising of young players as they make the transition from student to professional life. Over the last few years, Lynn has been more and more involved with the National Youth Orchestra of Great Britain, where her wisdom, care and guidance have encouraged many a young player to find their own belief and confidence and a burgeoning love of big orchestral playing. How inspiring to be able to get up close to one of the finest orchestral leaders around. Lynn's work with the National Youth Orchestra, the RNCM, and education more widely is set to continue apace as she steps down from the Halle in the coming spring. She's looking forward to spending more time on her small holding in Shropshire. Perhaps you can picture her strumming her newly acquired lute in the mobile wooden cabin that she will have made by her own fair hand by then. President, I am delighted to present Lynn Fletcher for admission to fellowship at the Royal Northern College of Music, honoris causa.
Mr. President, I have the honour to present Gregg for admission to Fellowship of the Royal Northern College of Music. If Gregg was a stick of rock, he would have RNCM running through his body, having been part of the community for the past 34 years. He learned the trumpet through the Leicestershire Youth Orchestra and had his first encounter with the then head of brass at RNCM, Howard Snell, whilst playing with the Desford Colliery Band. And he took a place to study at RNCM in 1984. He told me, I chose RNCM for Howard and Manchester United, a common theme. Murray claims to have been the world's worst student in that he took everybody else's medicine, not just his own, not only practicing the routines that he had been set, but also those of everybody else. A demonstration then of his hunger to learn and his incredible work ethic, characteristics that have been evident in everything that he's done since. Those characteristics elevated Murray above his peers, and in 1987, he was chosen by Claudio Abbado to be the first principal trumpet of the European Community Youth Orchestra, the first of many times that Murray would be an international standard bearer for the RNCM. He graduated in 1988 and went on to RCM to study natural trumpet with the legendary Michael Laird, but this didn't go well. Murray was thrown out after just 4 weeks for being too busy. Later that year, he was appointed principal trumpet of the Royal Ballet Sadler's Wells, then principal trumpet of the Scottish Opera, though he didn't actually start that job. Instead, he became principal trumpet of Opera North. He joined the staff at RNCM in 1990, and through his dedication and ability to instill in his students a passion and hunger for learning, Murray has made an incredible contribution to the heritage of brass playing associated with RNCM, producing, at a quick count, no fewer than 27 students holding positions in professional orchestras, with a geographical spread including Portugal, South Africa, Malta, China, and with 12 in UK orchestras. His teaching at Cheetham School also produced BBC Young Musician for Brass winner Hugh Morgan and Jason Evans, now principal trumpet of the Philharmonia Orchestra. In 1998, he took the RNCM Trumpet Ensemble to the International Trumpet Guild Conference in Kentucky, USA. And in 2002, as the artistic director and host, he brought the ITG conference with 800 delegates and many world stars to the RNCM. Many of those stars subsequently became regular visiting staff. In 1999, his passion for learning led to further study and an MMass at the University of Leeds, focusing on group teaching, collaborative learning, and a comparative study of UK versus US teaching methods. This led to shifts in delivery at RNCM and direct benefits to the students. Murray also devised and delivered the first Opera North RNCM Brass Professional Experience Scheme. Murray's mindset for contribution extends into all that he does. Last year, he cycled 500 miles in 5 days for a hospice charity. He is highly valued amongst his orchestral and conservatoire colleagues, not just for his professionalism, but also for his leadership and warmth. His contribution to the RNCM has been exceptional. 34 years as an international ambassador for the college, principal trumpet of Opera North for 30 years, and for Murray, what is required is just a starting point. There can be no better role model for our students. Mr. President, I'm delighted to present Murray Gregg for admission to Fellowship of the Royal College of Music, honoris causa.
President, on behalf of the Royal Northern College Music, I present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with thesis title of The Influence of the English Pianoforte on Keyboard Technique and Composition from 1790 to 1820, Jing Ouyang. Investigating contemporary Persian piano repertoire and its performance, Kiana Shafiei. Events in construct the organisation and transformative aesthetic qualities of objects within a musical space. Allard Smith.
President, on behalf of the Royal Northern College of Music, I present for the degree of Master of Music in Composition, Caroline Bourdignon. Edgar Diver. Fenton Hudson. Jinjun Lee. And for the degree of Master of Music in Performance, Charlotte Badham. Timothy Bagley. Eleanor Boney. Eliza Boom. Chelsea Burns. Eustathios Komestas. Emily Cox. Zoe Ewers. Christopher Gascoigne. Greta Nike Gasser. Michael Gibson. James Gerling. Yuan Gong. Daniel Hayes. Ian Henderson. John Hurd. Rachel Holton. Rebecca Howell. Katie Highland. Samuel Jackson. Cara James. Matas Jankauskas. Michael Jones. Edward Keeble. Grez Kachatrian. Soyeon Kim. Michael King. Xingqi Li. Siling Mun. Charlotte Mason. Andrew Masterson. Rebecca McIlroy. Matt Mears. Daniel Mills. Eleanor Mills. Isabel Mortimer. Matthew Nuttall. Stephanie Poropat. Rory Purvis. Dara Roberts. Alexander Robinson. Samuel Rodwell. Yulia Chvarko. Elspeth Slorach. Gabriel Solano. Stephanie Stamopoulos. Caroline Taylor. Rianne Taylor. Kit Sum Tay. Leylin Tai. Jessica Tomlinson. Hao Wang. Yiyan Wang. Alexander Webb. Xujin Yu. Si Yu. And for the degree of Master of Performance, Hoiching Anna Chu. Lin Deng. Tianyi Guo. Jiajie Ma. Ximeng Sun. Yujie Teng. Xuyun Wu. Kehan Zhou. And for the Postgraduate Diploma in Advanced Studies in Musical Performance, Gunda Baranowskate. Alice Braithwaite. William Curran. Adam Davies. Fiona Finsbury. Joshua Hall. Li Xin Yu. Elena Matzer. Eleanor Watts. And for the Postgraduate Diploma in Chamber Music, International Artist, Jonathan Bates. Michael Kavanagh. Christopher Robertson. Michael Smith. And the previous four are also in the group known as A4. And for the Postgraduate Diploma in Solo Performance, International Artist, Ugnias Pauliakonis. Alexei Pudinov. Andres Yauri Andokia. President, that concludes the presentation of postgraduate awards. The names of those graduating in absentia are listed in the programme.
President, on behalf of the College, I now invite presentations of persons who have rendered distinguished service and who are deemed worthy to be admitted as honorary members of this College.
Mr. President, I'm delighted to present Cathy Graham, Director of Music at the British Council, for honorary membership of the College. The story of how she got to this point in her career is an inspiring one, an example of the often challenging and unexpected routes towards a career in arts and culture. Cathy studied music at Birmingham University and piano with Rena Kellaway, the wife of the founding principal of this institution. From this time, she has memories of conducting a performance of The Rise and Fall of Mahagoni by Kurt Weill while on crutches, a sign of the strength of will and the determination that was clearly to stand her in good stead throughout her career. After Birmingham, she came to the RNCM as a postgraduate student in piano accompaniment. Cathy then moved to Stockholm, freelancing as a vocal coach, a repetitor, and a teacher at a time when well-known singers such as Nina Stemme and Anne-Sophie von Otter were taking their first professional steps. After 14 years, however, it was time to change course and to return to the UK. Not knowing quite how to engineer this, Cathy went to the British Embassy for some advice, only to be asked by someone, "Why are you going back to the UK? No one will be interested in a woman your age. There's a recession on." Clearly not a lot of help there. Undeterred, however, Cathy did return to the UK. Despite numerous job interviews, paid employment in the arts world in the UK initially eluded her. Eventually, though, serendipity intervened and a chance encounter led to her spending 3 months volunteering at the Almeida E&O Contemporary Opera Festival, supporting herself again, showing great determination by taking on cleaning jobs at night. She emerged with an excellent reference, which got her on the first paid rung of the employment ladder. This led eventually to her appointment as Executive Director of the Society of the Promotion of New Music, and then on to become Managing Director of London Sinfonietta, one of the world's finest contemporary music ensembles. What followed was, in her words, 9 phenomenal years working with a huge range of international composers and artists, and successfully leading the move to the new administrative home in the then newly built King's Place in London. In 2006, Cathy decided to push herself out of her comfort zone from a context where music was central to one where it was viewed through a much broader societal and geopolitical lens. This context was as Director of Music at the British Council, where she remains today. She spent more than a decade creating trust and friendship between the UK and the rest of the world, while at the same time raising the profile of new UK music across the world and facilitating collaboration between cultures. Challenges are always present, of course, and following the recent forced closure of the British Council in Russia, she's working on a celebrating UK-Russia Year of Music in 2019-20 to strengthen relationships between the two countries through their love of music, despite tensions on a governmental level. A deeply moving story of the power of music in society, or lack of it, was demonstrated in Afghanistan, a country where music was completely banned from 1994 until 2006. And hard as it is to imagine standing in a hall like this today, musicians could be jailed for up to 40 days for simply playing music. Through the British Council, Cathy was involved in supporting the first music school in Kabul post-Taliban rule, visiting the school in 2011 to see its progress for her own eyes. Cathy has led some extraordinary projects, such as the creation and development of World Voice, benefiting an estimated 500,000 children so far across 17 developing countries. She's given time to numerous boards and is currently chair of Streetwise Opera, an award-winning arts charity for people who are or have been homeless. Mr. President, I have the honour to present Cathy Graham for honorary membership of the RNCM Honoris Causa.
Mr. President, I have the honour to present Sir Richard Leese for admission to membership of the Royal Northern College of Music. Sir Richard was born in Mansfield and came to live in Manchester in 1979. He was elected to Manchester City Council in 1984 and, having spent 6 years as deputy, became leader of the council in 1996, a post he has held ever since. Over the last 22 years, Sir Richard has been the driving force behind the transformation of Manchester into a successful, modern, international and vibrant city. And in recognition of his outstanding contribution, was awarded the CBE in 2001 and then knighted for services to local government in 2006. If there's one thing that Sir Richard feels defines his achievements, and of which he's most proud, is that, in contrast to the city he found when he arrived here almost 4 decades ago, Manchester now has a strong sense of self-confidence. A confidence born out of an impressive list of achievements. For example, the Commonwealth Games in 2002, the growth of the new economy, and significant improvements in the region's infrastructure and environment. But above all, Manchester is a city that people want to live in. Sir Richard has also overseen major investments in culture. Outside of London, Manchester has become the UK's leading cultural city. There are now over 43,000 people here engaged in the creative industries. And that's over double that of our closest rival, Glasgow. Sir Richard enjoys music and is a very strong supporter of the college. Although coming from a musical family, his brother and sister are accomplished musicians, Sir Richard confesses that musical ability largely passed him by, despite early piano lessons. But he appreciates the major contribution the college and our students make to the economic and cultural life of the Northwest, including the extensive collaborations and partnerships that we've developed. And this collaborative approach has been a hallmark of Sir Richard's time as leader of the Council. The ability to work constructively with others and with a clear and consistent vision has been a major factor in his success. Sir Richard is, without doubt, one of the most successful and inspirational council leaders this country has seen. The transformation of Manchester under his leadership has had a significant impact on all who live, work, and study here. And we at the RNCM continue to benefit from the reputation Manchester now has across the world as a leading economic, cultural, and educational destination. A reputation that Sir Richard has been instrumental in creating. And so, Mr. President, I am delighted to present Sir Richard Leese for admission to membership of the Royal Northern College of Music, honoris causa.
Mr. President, I have the honour to present Richard Mantle for admission to membership of the Royal Northern College of Music. Richard is, and has been for nearly 25 years, the General Director of Opera North. Opera North is one of our foremost national opera companies, based in Leeds, and is a leading UK arts organisation now marking its 40th birthday, and a company with which the RNCM has a hugely fruitful partnership. The company believes that opera and music is for everyone and champions diversity in artists, repertoire and audiences, and much of the immense success of this most prestigious and universally admired company must surely be laid at the door of its General Director, who has been at the helm of the successful and stable development of all aspects of its business. Richard does not readily confess to being a musician, but he was caught by the opera bug very early in life, attending many performances at the Royal Opera House, setting off on his own from the family home in Richmond, London, to see his first opera at Covent Garden, Benjamin Britten's A Midsummer Night's Dream. He clearly remembers seeing Billy Budd and Eugene Onegin as a schoolboy. He attended the Tiffin School and continued his education to read business studies at university, and then went into HR in industry, working for the Beecham Group and J. Walter Thompson. In 1977, he applied for and got the post of Personnel Director of the English National Opera. The union relations at that time were very challenging. There had been strikes prior to his appointment, and it was a time of some considerable turbulence for the company. He was appointed Deputy Managing Director some 2 years later, and said that the recruitment process was somewhat unusual. He was in conversation with Lord Harwood, who advised him that this post is to be filled, you will do it. These were interesting times. Imagine the organisation required in 1984 when ENO toured the USA. The travelling company, led by Sir Mark Elder, consisted of 360 people. Richard remained at the ENO until the following year, 1985, when he was invited to become Managing Director of Scottish Opera. He was pleased to be able to introduce new developments into the company. He has always championed access to opera, and he reintroduced Scottish Opera Go Round, which continues to this day under a different name. He left the Scottish Opera to become managing director of the oldest opera company in Canada, Edmonton Opera, and is proud to have introduced significant new repertoire whilst there. Their first Janacek, first Handel, first Benjamin Britten. Again, he was headhunted from Edmonton. He appears only ever to have applied once for a job. And in 1994 became the General Director of Opera North, now an unrivaled national opera company. The orchestra of Opera North is the only UK opera orchestra also to have a full symphonic concert programme, and the chorus of Opera North, now recently expanded to a company of 36 members, contains many young artists who also fulfil small roles in the company's opera productions. One of the company's most admirable achievements must surely be the outreach and education work, with now 32 full-time members of staff who reach 1,800 children in Leeds and North Yorkshire every week. This is something which Richard has promoted over the last 20 years, leading the field. When asked of the achievements of which he is most proud, he responds that he is proud that the company is still in one piece, that they have survived the vicissitudes of the last 10 years, and he's very proud of the continuing highest artistic standards of the company. His most memorable performances? After a lifetime of attending operas, concerts and recitals, he chooses seeing Janet Baker singing Julius Caesar, at ENO, and at Opera North, Joe Barstow in the title role of Gloriana and the outstanding production of Peter Grimes. What next? The careful management of the new project Music Works at £18 million campaign to support the redevelopment of Opera North's Leeds home, including more live events and again championing access and education centre. Richard is a Fellow of Leeds College of Music, a Fellow of the Royal Society of Arts, and was awarded an honorary doctorate in music by the University of Leeds. He is on the board of the National Opera Studio and a member of the Advisory Council of the Music Department at York University. He's a member of the General Synod of the Church of England and a Deputy Lieutenant in the County of West Yorkshire. He was awarded an OBE in the Queen's Birthday Honours in June 2013 for services to music. He somehow also finds time to conduct a choir in Harrogate. Mr. President, I'm delighted to present Richard Mantle for admission to membership of the Royal Northern College of Music, honoris causa.
Mr. President, it is my duty and my pleasure to speak on behalf of today's honorands and to offer our heartfelt thanks for the recognition that has been bestowed upon us today. I feel that there's one particular thing that unites us all: Philippe Dinkin, Lynn Fletcher, Murray Gregg, Richard Mantle, Sir Richard Leese and I. And that is that we all make our living doing work we love and that is meaningful to us. True, the work can be hard and brings tough challenges alongside the rewards, but what can be more glorious than being recognised and endorsed for that contribution to music, to academe and to society, and from such a fine institution? I know I speak for my fellow honorands when I say that this is a very special moment for us. I was a student here, very near the start of the college's journey, in 1976. I remember the founding principal, the late John Mandrell, and Rena Kellaway, my first piano teacher, with great affection. They both had a profound influence on my life, as did the college. I've returned frequently over the years for different reasons, and have seen that the RNCM, now led by the greatly admired Professor Linda Merrick, never stands still, but develops continuously, always holding fast to the highest ambition and ideals of its founders. To the students who have graduated today, we offer our warm congratulations and wish you all success in your chosen careers. You belong to an inspirational family. I personally have felt its support over the years, never more so than today, and I know you will too. Be proud and happy that you have the opportunity to champion that art form which effortlessly enables us to forge friendships beyond the constraints of language and the difference of cultures that the world so desperately needs today.
President, it is with great personal and professional pride that I present for the degree of Bachelor of Music with Honours in Popular Music, Dan Addison. Rachel Booth. James Bradshaw. George Burridge. George Comer. Ollie Cox. James Davis. Simon Dumas. Cameron Easton. George Garside. Will Graham. Tom Grant. Joe Griffiths. Ada Hebis. Natalia Horoba. Reese Jang. Gareth Jones. George Lawton. Erica Ledbetter. Chris Lee. Rory Leonard. Rebecca Lewis. Nick McCrease. Anna McCluckey. Lisa Olivant. Mike Power. Chris Rabbits. Geordie Robertson. Sean Rogan. Hannah Rose. Matt Sanderson. Jake Schofield. Tom Smith. Phil Williams. Rosie Wilson. And Joe Woodhouse.
President, on behalf of the Royal Northern College of Music, I am delighted to present for the degree of Bachelor of Music with Honours, Harriet Ashton. Philippa Austin. Rory Backer. Sarah Rebecca Baldwin. Elizabeth Clara Barry. Camille Bayen. Mafanui Blandford. Bridie Blore. Adam Bukaris. Michael Brayley. Andrew Broom. Olivia Carroll. Win Chan. Jingyu Chen. Olivia Cheung. Ho Yan Sui. Dominique Cicotti. Matthew Clarkson. Emily Grace Clifton. Hannah Ruth Colvin. Sophia Charlotte Connolly. Hannah Kokorin. Harry Cunningham. Olivia Dance. Tad Davidson. Beth Dilworth. Daisy Bell Dumsday. Nathaniel Edwards. Elizabeth Elliott. Abigail Claire Flood. Vienna Moon Goddard. Connell Gormley. Nicholas Harrington. William Hearn. Maisie Flo Hepburn. John Peter Horan. Alexander Huxley. Hannah Jeffries. Emma Louise Jones. Wayne Wu Sekwon. Chek Lam Lai. Jason Lamb. Matthew Hon Lam. Seth Livingstone. Natasha Grace Lomas. Maria Luke. Kieran Lister. Grace Juliet MacDonald. Aidan Marsden. Joseph David Martin. Grace Evangeline Mason. Catherine Mason. Thomas Matthias. Peter John Madonna. Cressida McKay Frith. Liam McNally. Anna Olivia Murphy. Lucinda Claire Neal. Maria Anna Noviziana. Emily Claire Owen. Isabel Patuzzi. Katie Alice Langham Payne. Rosie Payne. Benjamin James Percival. Jared Rance Louis Pereira. Wenja Rao. Matthew Lee Rigg. Naomi Rogers. Megan Rolfe. Jack Anthony Rowlands. Anna Maria Ryland Jones. Luke Stott. Gabriel Seawright. Natalia Jennifer Senior Brown. Joe Sharples. Carmel Smickersgill. Alex Henry Smith. Jonathan Stevens. Freya Victoria Stoker. Amy Sermon. Stella Aurora Helena Tatinen. Azusa Mary Tanner. Andrew Tayson. Megan Francis Thompson. Ellen May Tisu. Suet Ying Cindy Tsang. Waipang Sang. Sophie Ann Lawson Turnbull. Joshua George Warhurst. Phoebe Watts. Erin Fleur Williams. Jason Ewan. And for the degree of Bachelor of Music, Felipe Modafore Dandalo. Daniel Aled Thomas. Kieran Connor Valentine. Bernadette Weinhammer.
President, on behalf of the Royal Northern College of Music, I have the honour to present for the Graduate Diploma of the Royal Northern College of Music, Catherine Jane Bloomer. Elizabeth Brightwell Gibbons. James Heathcote. And Anita Mary Ray Santinelli. President, that concludes the presentation of the undergraduate awards. The names of those graduating in absentia are listed in the programme.
Hello everyone. My name is Kathy and I'm really lucky to be acting as the RNCM Students' Union President for this year and today to be responding on behalf of all those graduating. In preparation for this speech, I did my homework. I watched a number of iconic speeches. I also, much like every single performance I've had the pleasure to be part in during my 3 years at the college, put together a list of every single worst possible case scenario for how the next few minutes were going to go. I did have a word with Nick Ware, our wonderful head of technical and production, just before the ceremony, just in case of a worst case scenario, but sadly there is no chance of the concert hall floor opening up and swallowing me whole, so it looks like for the next few minutes you're stuck with me. Sitting here today with a hard-earned cap on your head and a certificate in the post seems a world away from your auditions here maybe 3 or 5 years ago. Embarking on a performance degree at a world-class conservatoire represents not only the huge amount of talent that you all possess, but also a huge amount of risk. Through all the long days and nights of work, the fact that you have all made it here to graduation really is a testament to your determination, both as people and musicians, and I honestly could not be prouder or more privileged to speak to you today. However, a good friend once told me that no man or woman is truly self-made. We are made up of thousands of others. Every kind word or kind deed enters into the makeup of our character and our thoughts and contributes towards our successes. With that in mind, I would like to extend a real, genuine thank you to the parents and family of those graduating here today. Not only did you put up with us for the first 18 or so years of our lives, you continued that support as we dipped our toes into the messy but amazing pool that is adulthood for the first time. Whether it was keeping a straight face as we tried to argue in favour of the nutritional value behind a pot noodle, listening to us rant about whatever Becky with the good hair from flat 5B1C had got up to this time, coming to our rescue by transferring us that little bit of money, despite us not quite having paid back the last loan or 5. Whether it was being a reliable and sometimes the only face at all of our gigs, or for simply being there on the other end of the phone when the pressures and realities of living an independent life got too much. From us, thank you. We couldn't have done this without you. There's another huge thank you that must be made today. To teach represents a job, but to truly educate represents so much more than that. It's impossible for us as students to fully witness the tireless amount of work and commitment that goes into trying to ensure the best possible experience and outcomes for every student. In my job as president, I've been lucky to see a behind-the-scenes RNCM, but before this, the dedication and passion of all the staff here was only visible through the tiny acts of kindness that I know we all have received. The principal study tutor who gave you those extra hours just to make sure you really nailed that new technique. The registry team for issuing you your 5th student ID card in as many terms without any judgment or even a raised eyebrow. The librarian who took one look at the impressive £38 fine you'd managed to rack up and just wiping it clear. Steve Guy in the recording department for staying on shift until far too late to make sure your recording truly reflected the quality of your live performance. Orchestras and ensembles telling you in your first week that all hell would break loose if you ever missed a rehearsal, but actually being really nice about it when you inevitably overslept and turned up late sometimes. The academic tutors who replied to your email at all hours of the day and the night to ensure that your essay was in the best shape before you submitted it. These actions, although they seem small, go beyond any job description, and it's this dedication that has helped develop us into the wonderful professional people that I address today. So to Linda and to the rest of the staff, on behalf of the student body, thank you. One thing that I've learned at the RNCM, amongst other things, I haven't just learned one thing, but one thing that I have learned is that so much of the best music is made together. And so, a thank you to our friends. Think back to your very first day here when you were nervous and excited to get to know each other, making awkward small talk about probably music. From those first conversations about the A-levels you took, to navigating and getting lost in the college building, to supporting each other through some of the hardest and loveliest moments of our lives so far. Here's to each other and to having made friends for life. All the support in the world would mean nothing without the people that take it on. And with that in mind, the final thank you must go to yourself. For every time that things didn't go right, that it all got too much, or when you couldn't face another hour with that damn instrument, you picked yourself up and you carried on, and that's something to truly be proud of. You're an incredible group of people, and I know I don't just speak for myself when I say that you are sorely missed here. However, I rest more comfortably in the knowledge that regardless of what path you went on to pursue, you took with you all the incredible strength, resilience, and creativity that completing your degree or master's here gave you. I was told that this speech traditionally contains words of advice or wisdom for those graduating, and I'm sorry to say that at that point I've strayed from the path. I can't finish by bestowing some profound wisdom because I don't think any of you need it. The fact that you're all sitting here today is testament to the fact that you're doing a lot of things right. So the only advice I can give you is to keep on being you. In the immortal words of Bruno Mars, you're amazing, just the way you are. Thank you.
Principal, I present the students of the Royal Northern College of Music who've been selected to receive a gold medal. Michael Richard Charles Brayley. Anna Denisova. Maxim Kinisov. Wayne Woo Sok Kwon.
It says here, President's Address. It's a great honor, of course, to be the president, the current president of this great college, and to be able to greet you on this splendid occasion. I'm an opera singer, so I shouldn't need the microphone. Now, probably a lot of you know that I hail from fairly close to these parts. I come from a little place called Oswaldtwistle, 20 miles north of here. Thank you. And I first came to Manchester to study engineering at the university just down the road, which I enjoyed. After that, I decided to take my voice seriously, and I went to study at the Royal Manchester College of Music, as it was then, a building down Oxford Street, now demolished, regrettably. One of the great precursors of this magnificent college. Now that was quite a long time ago. That was 50 years ago, and I suppose I sort of pinch myself that I'm here in this position, standing here in this office, with the joyous task of, and I don't mean that sarcastically, it sounded sarcastic, with a joyous task of presenting you with your degrees and awards today. Now, what have I been doing for 50 years? That's the question. Well, I've been singing. I've been singing on many stages in many opera houses, from San Francisco to the Metropolitan New York, to Sydney Opera House, to Tokyo, to Roma, to La Scala Milano, to the Vienna State Opera, to Berlin, to Paris, Wolverhampton, Sunderland, Dundee and Glasgow. Nobody there? The man with the kilts. Belfast. Cardiff, there must be. London, of course. And Manchester. And many happy experiences in Manchester. Particularly, I remember the 70s when English National Opera used to tour in those days, and we came to the old Opera House, which is still going, I'm pleased to say, as well as of course, of many wonderful experiences in the old Free Trade Hall and then the Bridgewater Hall. What was I going to say next? People ask me about these 50 years. They say, so how has life changed? How has the world changed? How has being an opera singer changed over 50 years? Well, everything's changed and perhaps nothing's changed. The world, of course, has changed unrecognizably, enormously. But in those days, to be a successful opera singer, you needed to be a really good singing actor. And nowadays, you need to be a really good singing actor. So in a way, nothing has changed there. Opera, fascinating subject. Last night, we were in the Opera Theatre and enjoyed the most wonderful performance, the hugely enjoyable evening of opera. And it just got me thinking a little bit about the nature of opera. You could say, I suppose, that opera is straight theatre with the added dimension of music. But then I thought, well, why do we need music, you know? Straight theatre's great. It's convincing. It's people conversing, relating, interrelating. It's all about human behavior. It portrays the human situation. And even more so, film. Film is the most overwhelmingly convincing natural art form of what it's like to live on this planet. But it usually needs music. So what's the answer to that? It's a dangerous question to ask at a music college, to say, so why do we need music, you know, for straight theatre or for film? In this particular case, we need it, I feel, because I think we all know the answer to this. You probably all use different words than I would use, but I suppose I would say that our lives, we live in the visible world, yes, but most of our existence is probably to do with the invisible world. So under the conversation, there's the subtext. There's the train of thought, what we're all thinking. Perhaps we're having thoughts leading up to a new idea, for instance, or deeper down there's the emotional field. Perhaps we're deeply afraid and fearful of things and anxious. Perhaps we're quietly hopeful of things. There's that level of the invisible. And then you could go all the way to the unconscious and the intuitive and the spiritual and the hidden depths of humanity. And the point that I'm making, of course, is that music is brilliant at expressing this whole spectrum. The music's brilliant at expressing the whole spectrum of life, from the most conscious to the most deeply unconscious. And that's perhaps why it's so dear to us all. That's perhaps why we feel it sort of completes our lives, you know. And for many, many people in the world, music completes their lives. It means so much to so many people, does music, and it bestrides, if there's such a word as that, it bestrides boundaries, national boundaries. It bestrides, can there be a word, bestrides? It takes no notice of barriers of language, for instance. And we, as servants of music, you know, we work hard. We need discipline. We need to commit ourselves to music with work and discipline, but also it's our duty to be free individuals, to be spontaneous, to be creative, to have the confidence to make music freely and creatively, even though perhaps the dots on the page were put there by a great genius 200 years ago, perhaps. So, just to finish, I congratulate all of you whose achievements have been recognized today. I wish you well as you move on from this milestone into the future, into probably a world of music as you go on. And I worked out a final sentence, and the final sentence was, in return for the demands that she makes upon you, may music bring, I shouldn't have said you, I should have said we, us. May music bring us great joy and fulfillment. Thank you very much.
John, thank you very much indeed for those wise words.
It's my honour to be here.
And thank you, everybody, for being here today. Thank you for joining in our celebrations. A thank you to the people who were responsible for organising this event. It's an extremely complex task, as you would imagine, and they always do such brilliant jobs. So thank you very much to them. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I declare the congregation closed, and please will you stand for the national anthem.